Hi, how you doing? I'm Nikki Price and I wanted to do a small video today to give you an idea of what we do here in Rainbow After the Storm when mental health matters. So, who am I and why do I do what I do? Basically, my son asked me this about 2, 3 years ago. Mum, why do you do what you do? And I'm a lecturer at the moment at Warrington Vale Royal College. I've been an MVQ assessor. I've owned my own coffee shop. Many moons ago, I used to be a DJ, which comes in very handy now again with Rainbow. But I'll tell you more about that afterwards. And the reason I do what I do is 20 odd years ago, I ended up with a really bad spate of depression. When I look at it now, I'll be honest with you, what that was grief. There was a lot happened in a very short amount of time, but I didn't realise that at the time. And I'd just recently moved down to Somerset with my husband and little one at the time, and I ended up having a massive breakdown. And I kind of always say to people, I have been in your position, I have worn your t-shirt, and I always find if I'm going to wear a t-shirt, do it proper. So it was inside, on the back, and everywhere. It was a long process, and that's the answer to why do I do what I do, because even though things have moved on from 20 years ago, they're still not where I would love them to be, and there's many reasons as to why they are where they are right now. So what I look to do is I look to use experiences that I've been through myself, experiences that some of my wonderful learners have been through, have been kind enough to show what's gone on with them. And from that, I'm always looking at how can we use that so we can stop others falling down that hole, or what do we do when we get down that hole. There are a lot of groups out there that help with mental health. So why look at us? What makes us different? I think what makes us different is one is my experience. I work with so many underprivileged people, it's untrue. I have been asked countless times, will you do one-on-ones with people? We'll pay you money. I'm a life coach as well. I'm a hypnotherapist. We'll go, and they're trying to get me to go down this road where I can charge lots of money. However, every single time I end up back where I am, because I feel that through the grace of God, the people that I'm working with aren't me right now. But they were a version of my mum and dad, and they were a version of where my grandma and granddad were as well. And I have a real bee in my bonnet about having to pay for mental health, because I think when I look at what Marcus Rashford has done right now with the children's meals, I look at that, and that was my childhood, and I haven't thought about that for many, many years, a good 40 years. That was me. I remember when my dad got made redundant, my mum was struggling. The decisions were, is it food or is it heating? And I'd forgot about that, I'll be honest with you. I'm in a different place now. But I know what my mum and dad went through. And there have been times in my life where I've touched on that, never to that extreme. But I always think anybody I meet and any of the courses that I do are there just through the grace of God. It's not me that's sat there. So I have a real bee in my bonnet about having to pay for mental health, because I think when it comes to, if you've got children, or whether it's for yourself, whether you've got family, the last thing you're thinking of in that moment is, shall I pay for something for myself? It's going to come down to food, heating. You don't put yourself at the top of that pile. You only do that when you've had some mental health training. So for us to say people will pay for that, it just bothers me. It really does just bother me. So what do I do that's different from others? What do Rainbow do? Well, for one, we have an experience of many, many years. I nearly said how many years, and I'd be in so much trouble. A lot of years between all of us. And we do it in different forms. So we do it through, sometimes I go for walks with the dogs. So if people have been isolating, that's been fantastic. I'm very, very good at creating communities where people don't know each other, but they can start to talk. So as I'm doing a Facebook Live or something, they'll come on. They don't have to show that they're on, but they can start commenting. And what I found in the last 7-8 months while I've been doing this, while lockdown was happening and I wasn't over at college, is that I was looking through, kind of scrolling through who I knew and who I didn't know, i.e. before COVID, and 90% of the people that were there at the time I didn't know. Yet I felt like I'd known them for years, and not only did I feel like, the other people felt like that. And what is lovely now is I'm now able to just kind of, they're set up, they're running, but what they're doing is new members arrive, they're putting their wings around them. And I just think, oh, I read a testimony off a lady, Emma G, she won't mind me saying that she wrote, I found it the other day when I was looking over the weekend for this actually, that she wrote right at the beginning. And when she first, before she met me and Rainbow, she couldn't leave the house. She was crippled with anxiety. She wasn't sleeping. She'd been awake for nights upon nights on time. When she did try to go to sleep, she couldn't because she was shaking so much. And what she's found through Rainbow, she's found a routine. She's found a purpose. She's now running, she does a daily challenge for me. She did all the way through October. She's doing for November. And my goodness me, she's looking forward to the Christmas one. She comments on things. She gets involved in things. And this is a lady who couldn't leave the house, who couldn't sleep. But we've helped to find a routine. We've helped to find her purpose. We've helped to find her way in the world for where we are right now. And she's now helping others that are starting to arrive. That's what we do. I think the other thing that makes me different from what other people do, from what I've heard back, is I'm real. I don't go, page 47 says we've got to do this. What I do is I talk a lot about is this is what happened when this happened to me. If this doesn't work in your world, that's fine. Tell me what does. I need what I do to work in people's worlds. This is not about me, even though I always say it is. It's not about me. This is about wanting people to make lots and lots of small changes so that they can help themselves. I wanted, if it's okay, to show you some of the workbooks that I've been working on and been using. Now, if someone had said to me 8 months ago, Nick, you're going to set up your own YouTube channel, even just saying it now, you're going to be doing Facebook Lives, you're going to be doing this recording for you today, you're going to have made all these workbooks, you're going to be doing courses online, I would have gone, don't be silly. I'm not. But I've learned, and can I just point out, there have been many times I've had my head in my hands, and there's one particular time I do remember, I was sat outside and I was nearly crying because I couldn't cope with how to work YouTube. There are certain things in my life I have learned, and I'm so proud of myself. Hence why I'm doing this today, not sending you an email, because I can. So I also think as well, I want you to see what we can do and who I am, because people buy into, excuse that, but they buy into who's with them. And that's the one thing that I'm really proud of, is I'm always me. I don't lie to people. They might not want to hear what I want to say sometimes. I can be absolutely so empathic because I've been there, different story, but I've been there. But also sometimes they need a little bit of a kick up the backside. They need a little bit of, well, I get that. Do you want to move forward? It's also creating safe places for people to be as well. Feeling like they're part of something, feeling like they're contributing. We do this with Rainbow several ways. We have the walking of the dogs. All through lockdown, I did chat and mindfulness session pretty much every day, Monday to Friday. So we'd talk about what's your new normal, how are you feeling. If I was having a bad day, I'd tell them I'm having a bad day. I would encourage them to kind of contribute as I'm talking. And you can't see I'm doing it, but I'm texting there. Not that I text with my thumbs. So they're all contributing, so they can see it's not just them who are sat at home feeling that way. I think that's really important, that they understand they're not on their own. We also have an incredible group called Voice Assembly, who on a Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m, they come along and they do mindfulness through song. So they pick a running topic. So the last couple of weeks have been all about harvest, so sowing the seeds, what are your intentions with them? And it's a full, usually an hour and a half actually, where they're talking about a particular topic. What is it that you want moving forward? What is it that you need to leave behind? And then what they do is they take 2 or 3 songs, because they are a choir. They've actually been on the Manchester Arena with Hugh Jackman. I'm not sure I'm supposed to share that or not, but it's me sharing it, not them. So they come on. There's 2 of them. Sometimes there's more of them, but they come on and they'll pick a song. And what I love is they get you to listen to the lyrics. It's not just a random song. It's to do with what's going on, and you just get an opportunity at home to sing along if you choose to do. But every single time I watch their session, I know that I've changed 1 or 2 things about what it is that they've been talking about. So that's on a Thursday with the ladies, and then on a Friday evening, I do a disco myself and my husband. I told you I mentioned the DJing bit. And we started this way back in March, just thought we might be doing it for a couple of weeks, where I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit like old school entertainment. I used to be almost like a red coat kind of thing, and my husband's just silly. We'll just go with that. And we just come on and we just have fun. We've created characters. When I say we, my husband has created characters, and they absolutely love these characters. Kind of think a little bit like Mrs. Brown's Boys crossed with Les Dawson, that kind of thing. I'm happy to send you some videos. They're just silly, but they're just fun. And I mean, I got a message the day off someone who I don't always know the people who are messaging me, but I love the fact that they do it, because what they'll say is, I don't come on and comment, but I was having such a bad day, I've had such a bad week, and you just give me that relief, that ability to just not have to think about what's going on in the world right now. And that's what we do. We're starting as well to bring more mental health into that. We're going to have a different topic each week, where we're going to set them some tasks throughout the week. So it could be this letter K for kindness. I want to show you this. Sorry, I just want you to kind of see what crazy person you're getting involved with here. Look at that. It's all right. You might not be as excited as I am about that. Sorry. So we've got a big wooden circle there with the alphabet on. Then we're going to spin round. My husband wants to get a shiny jacket. Anyway, it's just, that's what we do. We want to make mental health about reality. We want to bring it in so that it's not all black and white CBT boxes and boxes to tick and this, that and the other. It's about how are we right now? What is going on? How can we look after each other? What can we do if we're feeling down? Because feeling down's okay, but what can we do to look after ourselves while we're feeling down? So it's that ability to not always have to help people when they're in crisis. I can do that, trying to do that, but I don't want to live my life living with people in crisis. I want to help people recognise when they're starting to go down that road. What can they do? What responsibility can they take? How can they look after themselves? How do they find that inner strength? Because it is there. How do they recognise that they're not going back down that road? It's just a feeling right now. So it's that. It's learning with through real life. It's talking about real situations, finding healthy boundaries. And if a lot of people are lost right now, there's so much, well, I don't need to tell you, there's so much going on. It's helping them find their new version of where they are now. So, sorry, I didn't mean to talk quite as much, but once I do, I just love what I'm doing. Sorry, I think I'm the luckiest person in the world to do what I do. So, I wanted to, if it's okay, I have to spend a moment or so giving you an idea of some of the topics that we touch on. But just as an example for today, the first one I wanted to show you, this one here, The Art of Saying No. I covered this morning, and I covered this for New Leaf, and I worked with them on a Monday. I've worked with New Leaf for the past 3 years, actually, a lot through college, but also through, I'm working for them for myself now as well on a Monday. And last week, the ladies in the group said, listen, I really struggle with saying no. I just can't say it. So 5:30 this morning, only because I forgot to do it last week. I didn't have time to do it last week, would be a better way of putting it. I wrote the 8 pages this morning on a workbook on the art of saying no. Now I'll use it a lot more, I know I will, but that's what I'm able to do. This is about what your clients, your learners want. I can come in with a list of, I'll do these 10 things here, or these 5 things here, or I'll look at this. If they come in and go, that's all very well and that's lovely, thanks Nick, but what I really want is this, because being able to say no will help me with my boundaries, it will help me stop feeling exhausted, it will fill me with some empowerment, it'll make me feel more confident, then that's what I'm able to do. So that was the one that we've done today. We did actually it's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours class that we did. Should have only been 2, but we carried on. And what I also do as well with them for that particular one for New Leaf is I then do a catch-up video, which is 15 minutes, and send that out. So if someone isn't able to come, they get a copy of the workbook each week, and they get a catch-up copy as well. And if they're really lucky, they get some homework. I know, it goes down well. Weirdly, actually, it does go down well. People are looking for things to do. It's great. I've never had so many people doing the homework. So just as a quick show, what we looked at today is why is it so hard to say no, given examples of it, and then we worked our way through how to reframe that, and then how can we say no. We had some real good fun with that. Another course that I've wrote, actually that was part of this one, which is This Is Me. And this was inspired by the song from The Greatest Showman, because it is about learning to, it says there, love yourself. It's about learning to own who we are. What we've been through, we've been through. I never get anyone in front of me who is just everything in their life is going peachy. That doesn't happen. I get all of the incredible people who have been through some real stuff. And firstly, it's almost like, let's just get them back into a position of just being still. You know, we talk about moving them forward. Sometimes we just need to get them to stop and catch up. So I've wrote This Is Me and also I Am, I Can. And they're about looking at who we are now, but focusing on what we can do and what did we learn from what we've been through, i.e. that we have got strength, we can get back up no matter what. What did we learn from that? What can we move forward and know who we are? It's really important, really, really important. Very powerful as well. Just an example, you'll have seen something very similar to this before, but it can come in any format. The second week of that, I'm not going to go through all 12 weeks, I promise you. The second week of that, and again, just to show you how, if you want it to be, it can have logos on, it can have whatever you want on there. This one's really important, the importance of talking. And again, we look at what stops us from talking. It could be that I feel embarrassed, no one listens to me. And it's understanding that those thoughts that you have in your head, that if your best friend said that to you, you'd be like, oh my gosh, no, I need to hear what you're saying. So it's getting them to just change the way that they think, but doing it in a way, I mean, the one thing I often do is I'll make people laugh, we have fun, I have to make people cry, and I send them to sleep. I've learned to deal with those now. The fun and the happy is great, the crying, I've just got used to it now. It's like, hey, who needs a tissue? Have a tissue. Because I think the thing is, a lot of time people have held things in for so long that if they're able to just release something, I think, great, what can we do with that moving forward now? And also, there's no judgment from anyone. It's almost like we had a lady this morning upset, it's like, right, let me give you a hug, and we're all hugging each other to hug her. And when was the last time that actually she had that in real life, or someone actually took that moment to just stop and pause and talk to her? So it's that. That's always a good way to start. What's on your mind today? I did that last week after the second lockdown. What's on your mind today? What's worrying you? So they'll get a version they can print off. They get a version which has got PDF, so you can fill it on your tablet or your phone. Or what a lot of people, when I teach like this. So I'll get the workbook up, and then we'll just use a notebook. It's for their use. They can use it. They can keep it, they can print it out, they can file it away, they can do what they want with it. Some people absolutely week in, week out print it out and do it. Some people just use a workbook as their own notebook as they go along. But it's a visual, it's a reminder, so that when I'm not here, they've got that reminder. What is it that helps them? I'm a mindfulness teacher as well, so I like to teach mindfulness in a way that's practical. So being able to do something like finger breathing, so I'll go through that with them. So it's like a deep breath in, we're pausing, and we're breathing out. And we have a bit of fun with that, because I say you can do that at the supermarket or at the doctor's. You know, if you want to stand there in the middle of the aisle and do it, people will move. Or you can just do it and no one, I'm doing it now. No one needs to know I'm doing it. So it's teaching them things that they can use, because that's really important to me. I don't want to teach them a lot of stuff that they go, what was that thing that Nick said we had to do? So we've lost it by that point. So there's lots of very easy things we can do. There's a lot of repetition in it. So you'll find something like the finger breathing. We'll go, come on, let's do it again. And then sometimes I'll just be talking and do it myself. And I know, because I can see what they're doing. They're doing it as well. Just really simple, easy things. At the moment, I've just started running tips and helps with dealing with the winter blues and SAD disorder. It's going down really, really well. This is about changing our association with winter. So I'm running it now. I could easily run it throughout the whole of winter several times. This particular one I'm running on Zoom, and then I've got a private Facebook page set up for this particular one, but this could be done on Facebook Live, it could be done on another Zoom, it could be done on your own personal Facebook pages, however it's being done. And it's just to give you an idea of kind of how we're changing mindsets. On that, we look at, this is what we're looking at this week, comfort food and drinks. Things to look forward to in winter, because when we were little we used to love winter. We didn't care about the cold, we didn't care it was slippy. It's only as we've got older every year, winter's coming. So it's interesting on the private page, more people had stew. from my class last week. They probably had stew and I don't know how long. All these pictures of stew appeared on, but I love it. We talked about gratitude as well last week. They've been making gratitude jars. I honestly, I can't tell you. This is just like from 1 week. So all of a sudden, we're starting to eat a little bit differently. We're looking forward to, we're looking forward to making food that, I made a stew last week. It doesn't cost very much money as well. That's the thing about this. I don't want it to be, let's do this. Let's do a homemade soup that doesn't need to cost very much. So that's what we've been doing there, and then from that we've then changed that into an exercise. So winter food and drinks. What is it that you enjoy? It could be a Sunday roast, it could be soup, it could be a homemade meat and potato pie, it could be one that we've bought in. But it's just to help them to think about things that they can enjoy that don't cost a lot of money, but give them something to look forward to in the winter months, because the lights go in and it just hugely affects our mental health. Oh, this is what we did last week. Gratitude jar. So I'm very much on, I like positivity. I like them to focus on something positive. Now, that's also me saying to them, listen, if you've got stuff going on, you've got stuff going on. I don't want them just to pretend to be positive. I want them to have moments where they can collect what they're happy about, because it is a mindset and it is a habit as well. So it's just constant little things that we can use that makes them just kind of think, we can be grateful for the fact that actually, have we got some heating, or I've got a family that loves me, or do you know what, I can have a warm meal this evening. So sometimes it's really breaking it down into their world, because that's what's really important. I also cover confidence work, but I do a lot of work on confidence. And to be honest, with all of them, all the threads are running in, even through confidence. Dealing with anxiety runs through that. It can just be worded however you want it to work. So the confidence one is the art of getting out of your comfort zone. So we talk a lot about that. That definitely deals with confidence, because while we're in our comfort zone, we feel confidence. When we're coming out of it, we feel unconfident. It's just because we're doing something new. And it's just pointing this out sometimes to people. This, without a doubt, is my favourite cover ever. Too pretty. Dealing with drama. It's a really good workbook as well, and I have some really good stuff in there. But I just think, how pretty is that? And it's looking at drama that you create yourself and drama that others create. What can you do to avoid that? What can you do if you know that's coming up? What do we learn to say no to? So there's a lot behind it. There's a lot of research that I've done that's in there, but also there's a lot of exercises that I want them to start thinking about. And then we have a discussion about it as well afterwards, if they choose to. This is my baby, dealing with the drama roundabout. This is something I came up with 3-4 years ago, and we talked about that and on kind of how we're minding our own business. When you're little, you're on a roundabout, and then somewhere along the line, usually a boy comes along, sorry and all that, but it is usually, you're there with your friend, a boy comes along, starts making the drama roundabout go faster and faster, and we're a bit giggly at first, and then actually we end up thinking, I need to get off this. And that's how I describe when you're minding your own business and someone comes along and decides to dump a load of stuff on you. that's what I'm saying, basically. Or it could be that we're stuck in an old record as well. We use that quite a lot. So I like to bring things to life for people. I think it's really important. I'm very visual, as you can see from this. But if I can get people to visualise what it is as opposed to a black and white word, I think we've got more chance of getting them to move forward. I teach mindfulness. I like to use mindfulness in a very practical way, I'll be honest with you. So I can meditate, we do meditate, but I like them also to be able to do things like gardening or colouring in or crochet or whatever works in their world, reading, just whatever it is in their world. And that's what I'll ask them to do. What did you used to enjoy doing? What music do you like listening to? When was the last time you put that music on? So it's not all about meditation. This is about things that you can do in your own home at any time. And just spending time doing things that you enjoy. Mindfulness, of course, is tapping into your senses. So there's a stress relief activity there. take a breath and make a note of what's around you using each of your senses. And again, this is something then they can take out into wherever they are in the world, whatever's going on, because this is not just about teaching them things. I need to teach them things they can then use. That to me is really important. So it could be that in a supermarket checkout and they're feeling quite anxious because maybe there's a lot of people in. What 5 things can you see in front of you? What colours can you see on the conveyor belt in front of you? Okay, what can you hear? Do you need to turn the hearing down a little bit? Okay, can you soothe yourself? Can you do the finger breathing? It's that. I want them to be able to use that in real life. And this is the one that I'm working on at the moment. This is a course that I've taught without a workbook actually, but this year we'll have a workbook for the last 2 or 3 years, and this covers pretty much everything. And I think, I'll be honest with you, this is needed every year, let alone this year. This year it's so needed. It's looking at what will Christmas look like? How can we get over the fact it might not be the Christmas that we're after? How do we deal with the Christmas that we might not be able to buy the things that we used to buy? How do we have those conversations? How do we, what does Christmas mean to you? Are we set up by the fact that Disney have these huge big tables laden full of food with the whole family sat round it and everyone gets on? If anyone can share it with me, the last time a massive big family sat around a table and didn't fall out at Christmas, I will bow my head to you. Because the reality of it, that doesn't happen. And this year, we won't be allowed to do that anyhow. That might be a relief. But that then ties into assertiveness, because you might have some people going, come round, it doesn't matter what the rules say. Well, actually, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So they all tie into each other. And that's where, like on week 2, if someone comes up and says, I feel really pressurised for this, I'll bring some of the other things in. So they're all always flexible. And I can work with whatever your learners, your clients need. And that's it. Sorry, I was only going to talk for a couple of minutes, wasn't I? But I just wanted to show you some of the things that we're able to do, some of the things that we're already doing. The Rainbow After a Storm, as we're just under 7,000 followers now. So if you know anybody who wants to come along, that would be amazing. If there's any projects we can be involved in, if there's any funding anywhere that would help us, because for the last 7 months, myself, Lou and Kadia, and we've got a couple of people working behind the scenes, really works very, very hard. And we've just done it because we've been volunteering doing it. They want to also, we all want to continue to do this, because I feel like this is such an important way to be able to reach people. COVID or no COVID, when they're struggling from mental health, can't get out of the house anyhow. And I find this a really, really effective way to be able to get to speak to people. I know now I could say, if we were allowed, listen, to some of my learners, like, listen, we're meeting up in the park next week for a walk, who wants to come? I would have, without a shadow of a doubt, people who would come to that. Can't just say I won't be doing because of COVID, but they would come to that. There's no way when I first started this they would have left their houses. Like I said, take COVID out of it. So I know what I'm doing is working. Definitely know that. I've got lots of testimonials. If you've got any questions, any ideas, please just reach out to me. It'd be wonderful. I want to help as many people as we can do. Thank you for your time today. It's really, really appreciated.